You have to daily choose to show up for yourself. Because if you second guess that you need to please or do or be and help for your surroundings before you choose you, then at any given time or sooner rather than later, you will burn out. That doesn't mean that you will meet the famous wall and feel like there is no tomorrow. How am I going to survive it? But you drain your physical body of detox, of taking in nourishment. You kind of eliminate yourself. And when you say yourself, it's quite we talk a lot about it, and it becomes this mantra, it becomes this spiritual thing. Take care of yourself. That's not the point. I think it's more important to think of yourself as a much more complex system, with the cells, the nervous system, the fascia, the muscles, everything. But let's take the cells as the ground zero here. This is the main thing, because we know cells are absolutely in every part of our body. So if you want, let's say you want to choose to be your best version, you want to be best in business, you want to be best at achieving something, a goal, a passion, a dream, it doesn't matter. You can put your mind to it, yes, but you have to go deeper down into your body. You have to actually feed the cells of that information. That means that you can't only isolate to the brain, because your heart is a brain, your stomach is a brain. These are the three main brains we have, which are super important and actually more important than this one, because we have taught that brain more to stay in the zone of fear. That means worrying about tomorrow, worrying about being good enough, the best one, the prettiest enough, the skinniest one, the fattest one. It doesn't matter what the worry is about, but we live in the future. We don't live now. And everything we do is based on, a lot of what we do is based on fear of something. In this environment where everything is supposed to be successful and perfect, which is not. So if we lean towards nature, there we see the flaws, there we see the perfection in the imperfection, which is the beauty. But when it comes to us humans, we don't tend to see that. We talk about it like an intellectual thing, be happy with the flaws, everything that's a little bit crooked is fine, but we don't live by it. So if you want to be successful, first of all, you need to change your mindset. And that's possible. 30 to 40%. I keep talking about that. It's possible to change. But you also need to dive down into literally talk to yourself. Cells. See what goes on. Because there is a very interesting thing here. The cells are like your own little machinery. Each and every one. So whatever you do up here, that information goes to each and every one of your cells. So if you're in the fear zone, that produces negative cortisol, which makes an acidic body, which again, it's easier for you to have a really bad, rotten immune system and get sick. I'm putting on an edge now, but for you to understand, me too, absolutely. That's why if you don't change your mindset and you keep on accepting that fear is okay, because there is nothing to be afraid of, usually. The only thing we're born with is high sounds and heights. So you changed your mindset, you're working on changing your mindset, then you feel like you own that new mindset, then you can start talking to yourselves. Literally, this is just imaginary. It doesn't mean that you're going to dive into your body and say hello and start up a conversation, but you literally need to go down and feel. Are they on board? Is this okay? It's like when you eat food. Some food goes really well with your system, your intestines, your stomach. Other foods doesn't that much. And the more sensitive you get, and what I mean by sensitive is aware of who you are, how your body works, how your mind works, the more sensitive you will be towards noise. And that doesn't mean high notes or high tones, or it just can be noise of people, their energy, what's going on. There's too many here. Everybody's thinking the different things, doing different, it is a tiresome place to be. The same thing, you'll be sensitive to food. You'll be sensitive to dialogues. You'll be sensitive to people being angry, happy, in between. So, you have to learn to check in and see what is accepted to your body. And this will change all the time, because the second you start on this path, figuring out how much your brain really matters, how much your thoughts really matters for how your well-being is, then you start diving into your body, seeing, okay, what's the connection? Body, mind, what goes on here? And a lot goes on, because whatever you tell your mind, it creates emotions. And the emotion will start stirring up your cells. It's like, hello, this is not very okay. This is not cool. I'm a little bit worried. What am I going to do? And there we go. And I'm sure if I said, how many nights have you been laying awake trying to sleep, but the mind is in control? That's what I'm talking about. But we're not accustomed to thinking about it like, what's going on here? Why is the mind doing this? It doesn't know anything about tomorrow. So why am I laying here, wondering about it, worrying about it, making it a big deal? I might have completely different tools, or there might come in a person tomorrow that will help me solve it. So why am I even there? Plus, there is another very interesting thing, is that everything we have learned, we base the information on that, because it has happened 3 times in the past. It's definitely going to happen in the future. But that's not the case, is it? Because we don't know. And everything and absolutely all our surroundings changing all the time. Even you, even I. So that's why we tend to look to nature. It has a natural flow of everything. Seeds being buried in the ground for 6-7 months until rain season comes. The animals, everything flows. It's a natural course of different states, which is incredible. But we tend to think that, I need to be in control. I am in control. I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know because I have some experience from the past. So I know that it's right to worry. I'm entitled to worry even. And even feeling entitled to worry, it victimizes you. It says it's okay to be afraid. You don't have anything to be afraid of. No danger whatsoever. It's just, it might be a problem, but problems are there to be solved. So actually you can just relax and you can spend your time tomorrow trying work on solving the problem and figuring out what you're going to do. So this is what we do subconsciously all day long. And it affects ourselves on such a deep level. Like I said, it eats or feeds off that energy that you give it your brain, and it affects every single cell, and it turns, if it's worried it's about or if it's fear, it turns into the negative cortisol. So whatever you kind of do, you have to figure out if the information was or is yours. If it's information given to you by others, by birth, by upbringing, it has been an interesting information. It might have been bad, it might have been troublesome, it might have created traumas. There's a lot of things. But it doesn't mean that it owns you, because there's other people inflicted it on you. It was never yours from the beginning. So you can choose to leave it behind and start figuring out what is your true information. What do I want to keep? What resonates with me? What can I leave behind? And start questioning everything around you and figure out, what is it that I need for me to thrive, for me to reach my goals, for me to get the success that I want. But you can't stay in a fear zone to reach success. Those two doesn't go together. You have to let go of fear and be willing to jump into the unknown for you to be successful, because all the buts are not equal to success. You can solve every topic, every problem, every challenge you can solve. They are there to be solved. But you have to choose to let go of the worry and the fear, because that means that you won't even start on the path of whatever passion or dream you have or you want to pursue. So starting to turn the arrow around, finding your own dopamine, your own serotonin, doing what is good for you, finding your new language, finding your passion, your dream, what makes you tick. That's how you find back to who you are. And then you might say, Annett, but this is a lot of things to take on. But you don't have to do it all. Just start somewhere. Start with the critical thinking. Start saying, no, I don't want to go to these other social gatherings because they're boring. I feel out of my, comfort zone. I feel it tires me, whatever the reason is. But be able to put out those healthy boundaries and say, nope, I need to use my energy on something else that will fill me up. And then again, I can give to other people around me. I can help other people around me. But starting out as a pleaser, helper, because somebody told you once upon a time that was the person you should be and absolutely have to be, the only thing it does, it destroys your information, your valuable, unique information of who you are, just because you bought into somebody's explanation of how you should be. There was a lot of words here, but this is so vitally important. I'm not giving up on talking about this because it is the essence. If you're going to find back to yourself, and if you're going to survive in AI and ChatGPT and whatever that brings to you these days, you have to figure out your voice, who you are, and where you want to go before you are going to get run over by technology. And that's a fact. So yes,